Why be part of a co-op? By the Cooperative Agriculture Network. Well, there's a lot of reasons for a business to be a member of a cooperative. There's social reasons, environmental reasons, economic, and more. In my opinion, economic reasons speak the loudest, or at least first, to cannabis business owners who have struggled since the launch of regulation to keep their businesses and livelihoods alive. As co-op founders, we need to remember that when our co-op works, it's a win-win, because when our co-op makes money for our member businesses, our businesses will exist, and in turn the co-op will exist. Co-op founders need to keep in mind that every prospective member should be asking, how does being a co-op member bring value to my business? Well, here's some answers from Uplift. One is that being a member reduces my cost of production. Two, being a member increases my product value and ease of sales. Three, being a member increases my quality of product and it increases my quality of life. These are all things that every member should feel like is true. Otherwise, they're probably better off not being a member. And so when we look at what cooperatives can do for member producers in the cannabis space, we came up with these different tiles, and we organized them by low-hanging fruit in the sense of the easiest to access services that a co-op can provide, all the way up to the high-hanging fruit, which would be the most difficult to access services. So the easy, low-hanging fruit in green, and the high, difficult to access hanging fruit in red. We recommend co-ops start with the green, but if it's a very high-functioning group of folks, they can go straight to the red. So here we break down each of those tiles into some of the specific activities that the cooperative can do. So as you're looking at ways you want your cooperative to support its member farms, here's some ideas. Of course, there's more, but this is what we've come up with so far. When we look at collective branding, organizing, contracted, licensed support, what we're talking about here is that the co-op is best right off the bat organizing licensed support for its member farms. So whether that's processing, whether that's transportation, whether that's distribution or manufacturing, that can all be organized by the cooperative. So then it's one port of entry for that manufacturing or transportation business. The co-op can organize many members so that it makes it easy for the distribution, transportation, or manufacturing business to access all of those members. In addition to that, there's the opportunity to establish collective standards. There's the opportunity to design and direct branding, and this gets into the collective branding piece. There's also the opportunity to collaborate on social media content. It's a little difficult for some folks to post weekly, but perhaps if you have a bunch of members, there's enough posts coming out of those members to do a weekly post. When we look at transportation, we kind of go up to the next level from green to yellow, a little bit more difficult to access. Still, the first step in transportation is for the co-op to organize a transportation company who already has access to that license and the vehicles. The next level, of course, is that the membership shares a vehicle lease. They share insurance. Perhaps they share the ownership of the vehicle because the co-op owns the vehicle, and the co-op accesses that transportation license. Once that happens, then the co-op can actually contract to other farms as a fee for service for transporting product. Processing, another yellow tile, a little difficult to access, but it can be done. Easiest first to start off contracting with a processing company, but for a cooperative to access processing facility, processing space, and processing license in a place that's easily accessible to the member farms, that's a huge benefit to the member farms. And there's a lot of ways that the cooperative can manage and benefit that. One of the big ones is down here at the bottom, that it can potentially delay farm expense for trimming if the cooperative has capital, in the sense that if the farmer wants to bring their product in for sale through the cooperative brand, then perhaps the co-op can cover some of those costs of trimming. So the farmer doesn't get stuck in that position where they have a lot of weed but no money to trim it. The nursery operation and the potential of this tile, again, is in the yellow section where we put it. There's a caution here, which is that common genetics can lead to common failures and diseases. We certainly don't want everyone in the co-op to fail because a common cooperative nursery had a problem. So there needs to be redundancy there. But there's a lot of benefits too because it can help maintain co-op proprietary genetics, which might be a big play coming into appellations. It can also help do R&D. It can also help for bulk purchase of seeds, genetics, and clones, which could also be done without a nursery license. Tourism, of course, the co-op can organize tours. There's a lot of benefit to a tour that gets to visit multiple farms to see how several different people do it and see several different places. Everybody's farm is beautiful in its own way, and it gives folks a nice way to triangulate on what it is that we're doing out here in Humboldt if they get to see multiple farms instead of just one. So the co-op can organize that. Tourism owned by the farmers through the cooperative is a real plus. When tourism is owned as an extraction, then the farmers sort of have the potential or the risk of being a little bit of a circus act. Caution on that one. Manufacturing, we get into the red tiles, the higher level, more difficult to access licensing, but certainly possible. Some benefits here. This is important for farmers to have access to manufacturing usually because not all flour is suitable for a flour, or some of it's not suitable for pre-rolls or whatever it is that the cooperative is selling. Manufacturing also includes, of course, infused pre-rolls. There's a lot of benefits here that the farm can access. Distribution, again, another tier up. This is a difficult license. We've seen a lot of these licenses go out of business in Humboldt County in the last couple of years. We want to make sure that if a co-op takes on this license, that it's not going to fail. So be cautious with that. How are you going to do it better than the companies that have failed? That's the important question. But certainly for the cooperative to own its own distribution has a huge advantage in the marketplace. And finally, there's retail shops, either brick and mortar and or delivery. This is perhaps the most difficult to access tile in our opinion, but yet would be great if a cooperative owned a fully vertically integrated company so that the sales at the retail shop, the profits there could go directly back to the farmers to keep that balance of power. Good luck out there. We hope you succeed in your wildest dreams.